I can still recall it as vividly as if it happened just last night. A horrifying and unforgettable discovery inside a house in Illinois. At that moment, I was literally gathering my luggage, preparing to head to my mother's home, when the news broke. The medical examiner informed us that the victims included an adult woman and an adult man. Around that same time, David, who was supposed to leave for training in Florida, called me. "Can you come here instead of going home?" he asked. I didn't hesitate. "Okay, I'll come," I told him. The residence where the bodies were found belonged to none other than the family of singer and Academy Award winning actress Jennifer Hudson. One decision, one tiny change in plan, ended up separating life from death. "If I had gone home like usual," someone said, "do you know what would have happened? Would she have followed me?" When I reached my front door after work, there was a bullet hole right in it. If I had been inside, I would have been sleeping next to her in that bed. Do you think about that? Every day. I could have been in that house. Do you think he would have? October 24th, 2008. Nothing in the world could have prepared Jennifer Hudson for what her sister was about to uncover that afternoon. Around 3 p.m., Jennifer's elder sister Julia returned from work to the Hudson family home, a house where the family had spent most of their lives. As she walked toward the entrance, she expected her 7-year-old son Julian to come running to greet her. Julian had skipped school that day and stayed home with his grandmother Darnell and his uncle Jason. But before she could even step inside, Julia froze. A bullet hole pierced the front door. Heart pounding, she pushed the door open and immediately locked eyes with the motionless body of her mother lying on the floor. Panicking, Julia bolted out of the house and dialed 911. "What happened?" the dispatcher asked. I don't know. I keep seeing it in my head. Is she breathing? Is she breathing?" Julia was sobbing so hard she could barely speak. I just ran out. I couldn't stay in there." While still on the phone, another terrifying thought hit her. She had no idea where the rest of her family was. She begged a neighbor to check inside the house again. "My brother, please, my brother, what about him?" she cried. The answer would shatter her. Jason had been shot in his bedroom, and Julian, her 7-year-old son, was missing. Soon the world learned the devastating news. The mother and brother of Oscar-winning actress and singer Jennifer Hudson had been murdered. But the agony deepened with the mystery of Julian's disappearance. "Only a monster could do something like this," a neighbor said. "A heartless person. A child, an innocent child. He didn't deserve this." Julian's teachers and neighbors described him as bright, sweet, and exceptionally smart. "Just let him go," they pleaded. "Please, whoever has him, release him." Gunshots were so common in that neighborhood that no one bothered calling 911 when shots rang out that morning. That tragic silence gave the killer nearly 7 hours to escape with little Julian in tow. Police issued an Amber Alert for Julian King. "We are looking for a white 1994 Chevy Suburban," authorities announced. "If anyone sees it, call immediately." Julia begged the public through tears. "All I'm asking, please, please let my baby come home. He's 7. Just let him go." Neighbors gathered outside the Hudson home, sharing in the grief and praying for Julian's safe return. "We just want Jennifer to know we care," one said. People reminded reporters how they had voted for Jennifer Hudson when she competed on American Idol, rooting for her rise. Now, the neighborhood was united again, hoping for the safe return of her nephew. At that time, Jennifer Hudson was living a dream life. The Oscar-winning star of Dreamgirls seemed unstoppable. "You can do it too," she would tell fans. But despite her fame, she always depended on her close-knit family to keep her grounded. She returned home often, cherishing moments with them. Just days before the tragedy, she had visited. Julian was sitting in the living room, reading. "It was always me and my tug bear," she recalled affectionately. Jennifer remembered sitting at the piano, singing while her mother sat on one side of her and Jason on the other. It was simple. It was home. It was family. But on the day of the murders, something felt wrong. Jennifer was in Tampa, Florida with her fiancé. He had asked her to visit him during her off days, so she went. "I woke up around 10 or 11 in the morning," she said. "Usually, there would be a text from my mom waiting for me. But that day nothing. It felt strange. Unsettling. I thought maybe she was busy, but it didn't sit right. Jennifer drifted back to sleep. When she woke again, her sister was calling her fiancé's phone, hysterical. He couldn't even understand her words. Jennifer snatched the phone from him. Julia was screaming. Jennifer immediately understood something terrible had happened. She flew to Chicago right away. That night, reporters waited for a statement, but Jennifer said nothing. Her first stop was the Cook County Medical Examiner's office, where she faced the unimaginable, identifying the bodies of her mother and brother. It felt like watching myself from outside my own body, she recalled. It didn't feel real. Without allowing herself to grieve, she shifted all her focus to finding Julian. She offered a $100,000 reward. If anyone saw him, if anyone knows anything, the family begged for help. They just want Julian back, a friend said. To hold him. To know he's safe. Please find who did this, another said. And once they're caught, let justice be done. Jennifer knew immediately who had committed the crime. We all did, she said. In a photograph taken only months before, Jennifer stands beside the man she would later accuse of murdering her family. Her brother-in-law William Balfour. Go get him, she told the police. He had recently argued with Julia. He went to her workplace and threatened her. I'm going to take Julian. Julia rushed home and told her mother. Her mother responded firmly. Over my dead body. And heartbreakingly. That is exactly what happened. Julia later admitted. She begged me not to marry him. She said, I'll take you around the world, just don't marry him. But I did. Balfour had been furious after being kicked out of the Hudson home. He frequently erupted in rage, and he had a history of violence. Police traced his phone and located him miles away at his new girlfriend's home. When officers stormed the house, Balfour tried to flee. We heard a loud crash when police kicked down the back door, a witness recalled. They came in full force and took me straight to the ground. Authorities confirmed to the Hudson family that the prime suspect, William Balfour, was in custody, but Julian King was still missing. Why am I here? Balfour asked during interrogation. You're here because your ex-mother-in-law and ex-brother-in-law were found dead, the detective responded. We want to know where the kid is. I don't know where he is, Balfour insisted. Let me put it this way, the detective warned. If that little boy turns up dead, you're going to be in a world of trouble. The Amber Alert remained active. Police continued searching for the missing white SUV. October 27th, a breakthrough early Monday morning, several miles from the crime scene. A couple out walking their dog spotted an SUV parked on their block. The license plate matched the one broadcast on TV. Medical examiners and police swarmed the scene. A tragic possibility quickly became a heartbreaking reality. Julian King's body had been found in the back of the vehicle. For the second time that week, Jennifer returned to the examiner's office. This time, she had to identify her baby nephew. It tears a piece of you out, she said later. He was so bright, so clever. I can't even say it. How could something like this happen? When she finally spoke the words, my family was murdered, the reality became undeniable. A private funeral was held at a Chicago church for Jennifer Hudson's mother, brother, and 7-year-old nephew. People described an atmosphere so heavy that even breathing felt difficult. Jennifer later said, I didn't even know who to mourn first. Naturally, I think of my mother because she's my mother. Then Julian comes to mind. Then Jason. My mind was scattered. Everything was fragments. It was overwhelming, too much to process at once. During the service, witnesses recalled that the Oscar-winning actress gently bent down and gave her mother one final kiss. The family managed to remain composed, but the pain in the room was unmistakable. I can't imagine what she's feeling, one mourner said. It hurts to know someone could kill a 7-year-old child. What did he ever do in his entire life to deserve that? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. After the funeral, Jennifer retreated from the spotlight. She disappeared from public view, trying to survive the emotional storm while the case against her family's killer was only beginning. But there was a major obstacle. There was no physical evidence directly linking William Balfour to the murders. No fingerprints. No DNA matching him on the weapon. Nothing concrete. His defense was quick to argue that police had unfairly zeroed in on him simply because the case involved a celebrity, and they needed someone to blame. We are fully confident that once all evidence is presented, William will be found not guilty, the defense attorney insisted. Jennifer struggled privately during this period. Her mother used to tell her, "Jenny, one of the things I love most about you is that no matter how bad things seem, you always manage to find something positive." But Jennifer felt lost. How am I supposed to find anything positive in this? She asked herself. For nearly 2 weeks, she woke up each day feeling crushed by depression. She spent most of her time isolated in a single room, away from the world. No TV. No news. No interest in anything. "I didn't even want to know what was happening," she said. "I had more than enough pain to deal with already." Around this time, she was offered a role in a new movie, but she turned it down. "I needed to rediscover who I was after everything shattered. How could I play another person when I didn't even know myself anymore?" The trial approaches, and Jennifer's first public step forward as the trial neared. Jennifer was invited to perform at the Grammys. It would be her first major public appearance in months. But what made the timing even more painful was the fact that her late brother's birthday was only days away. Holidays, celebrations, everything hurt now. "When you lose people you love, you don't want to see birthdays come," she said quietly. "It's too painful." Still, Jennifer sensed that if she stayed still, if she let grief swallow her, it would only get worse. So she decided to do what her family had always loved to see her do: sing. Before she stepped on stage, she was met with a surprise she didn't anticipate. Her name was called for a Grammy Award. "I don't think the moment was about winning a Grammy," someone close to her said. "It was about her reclaiming a tiny bit of light during her darkest chapter." Jennifer stood at the microphone, emotional and overwhelmed. "I want to thank my family in heaven, and those who are here today," she said, almost whispering the last part. The most powerful moment, however, came during her performance, a tribute she offered through song to her mother, brother, and nephew. The audience fell silent as she sang. Her voice trembled but did not break. I could hear Jason in my head saying, "Jennifer, you better kill this." I knew he'd be disappointed if I didn't give it everything. She poured her entire soul into the performance. "You reached out your arms, out your heart." Some said it felt like watching a woman lift herself from the ashes. Others believed her family, wherever they were, gave her the strength to stand there that night. "God never gives you more than you can handle," a friend said. And watching her, you realized he was letting her handle it, letting her rise. By the end of the song, Jennifer fought back tears. Her mother used to scold her for getting emotional on stage. "Jenny, why are you always crying when you perform? Stop crying," she would tease. But this time, the tears were allowed. "I was thinking about my family the whole time," Jennifer said. "Every note was for them." It was a moment she would never forget. A spark of hope during an ocean of grief. Jennifer explained later. "Music feels like home. When you're lost, scared, or trying to find your way, you run home." In her heart, she felt her family was still with her, guiding her forward. "I can hear them even now. My mother telling me to stop crying. My brother telling me to get it together. The only way I can honor them is by living a life they'd be proud of." Yet there was one thing she still hadn't been able to do. She had not returned to visit her family's graves since the funeral. "I couldn't go back empty-handed," she said. To return face-to-face with that reality, she needed to bring something meaningful: justice. Jennifer knew what she had to do next. Face the man responsible for destroying her family. As the trial began, prosecutors made a bold move. They opened their case with the one witness whose presence carried the most emotional weight and the highest public profile: Jennifer Hudson herself. In trials where there is no physical evidence, no DNA, no fingerprints, no gunshot residue, the testimony of a surviving family member becomes crucial. Jennifer was not only a celebrity, she was the living connection to the victims. But her presence was a double-edged sword. Her testimony could strengthen the prosecution's case greatly, or it could undermine it if the jury felt she was overly emotional or acting, given her fame. Legal experts warned, You cannot assume the celebrity factor won't affect the jury. If they feel she's exaggerating or performing, even unintentionally, it could damage the case. Jennifer was aware of this pressure, but she refused to be boxed in by expectations. "I don't like being told who I should be," she said. "In my world, there are no limits. Nobody gets to define that for me." In court, Jennifer speaks during her testimony. The prosecutor asked about the events leading up to the murders. "In the summer of 2006, did you become aware that your sister Julia was dating someone?" "Yes," Jennifer replied. "Eventually I learned that Julia and William were involved." She went on to explain how uncomfortable the family was with him. "None of us wanted her to marry him. I told her repeatedly not to. We didn't like the way he treated her, and I definitely didn't like how he treated my nephew." Everything the defense had been claiming about threats made by Balfour. Jennifer said she had no prior knowledge of any of it. "It was all new information to me," she told the court. The prosecutor pressed further. "Do you know who committed these murders?" "No," she responded firmly. Or, "I'm not willing to say?" The prosecutor asked. "No, it's not that. I'm just being responsible." Jennifer was clear. She wasn't accusing anyone blindly, but she wasn't letting Balfour escape accountability either. She wanted the jury to understand one thing. These murders will not be forgotten. This will not become another crime nobody cares about. The most critical part of her testimony: Jennifer's daily habit with her mother. The routine of her mother texting her each morning helped prosecutors establish a timeline. Because her mother didn't text that morning, prosecutors argued that this helped narrow the window of when the murders occurred. Combined with witness statements, cell tower data, phone records, and the defendant's location at the time of the killings, the circumstantial evidence painted a clear and disturbing picture. While none of it was physical, all of it together formed a strong narrative pointing toward Balfour. The verdict: when it was all over, the jury found William Balfour guilty of the murders of Darnell Donnerson, Jennifer's mother; Jason Hudson, her brother; Julian King, her nephew. Judge Charles Burns delivered a scathing statement during sentencing. "Your heart is like an Arctic night, frozen and dark. Your soul is as empty as the blackness of space." Jennifer was present for every single court session. When asked why she attended daily, she said, "That's the easiest question to answer. My mother would have been there, so I had to be there. Every single day. To honor them. Nothing else mattered." Both sisters stood united in the courtroom, refusing to let their loved ones be forgotten. After the trial, her return to their graves only after Balfour was sentenced, did Jennifer finally feel ready to visit her family's resting place. "I needed to go back, but not with empty hands. I felt like I could only stand there once justice had been served." She wanted to show them that she had completed what needed to be done, that she fought for them. "Now that we have justice," she said, "now I can face them." Every day, she still hears her mother's voice in her mind. Those memories guide her choices, her behavior, her strength. "I try to live in a way that reflects who she raised me to be. That's what pushes me forward, knowing she'd be proud of me." She emphasizes that her mother's death did not define her mother's life. The tragedy isn't her story. Her love is. Jennifer turns pain into purpose at a Chicago event. Jennifer's emotions overwhelmed her as she accepted a proclamation declaring Julian King Day. Through the Julian D. King Foundation, Jennifer and her sister began distributing school supplies to children in need. A direct tribute to Julian's bright and generous little spirit. "I just want to keep his memory alive," Jennifer said. "It helps all of us heal." She explained that the family was slowly finding a new beginning. "We've suffered a huge loss, but we're still blessed. We're trying to find our way again." Her mother still lives through her. A reporter once asked her if she still thinks about her mother. Jennifer gently smiled and said, "Today is actually my mother's birthday." She shared that her mother used to send her heartfelt letters while she was away working. She wrote, "Of all the things you've accomplished, what I love most is the person you are, your character." Jennifer has experienced unimaginable highs and devastating lows, but she believes there is only one path forward. To keep living, to honor the people you've loved and lost, and to live the way they wanted you to. "You've been blessed with life," she said softly. So live it. In the months following the verdict, Jennifer Hudson began slowly piecing her life back together. The weight of grief was still heavy, but something inside her had shifted. She finally felt that her family's story had been heard, that justice had been delivered, even if it could never restore what was lost. She described the experience as learning to breathe again. Not the same breath as before. This one carried the ache of everything she'd endured, but a breath nonetheless, a sign that she could still rise. Jennifer often explained that her strength didn't come from fame, awards, or public support. It came from the people whose voices she still carried inside her. Her mother, her brother, and little Julian. I hear them constantly, she said. My mother's firmness, Jason's humor, Julian's bright energy. It's like they guide me even now. Living with their presence instead of their absence, Jennifer said she learned that grief isn't something that fades. It becomes something you learn to walk with. I don't try to erase what happened, she explained. I try to carry it with purpose. She talked often about how she still felt her mother's guidance. She had this way of grounding me, Jennifer said. And now I try to live the way she taught me, by staying humble, staying grateful, and helping others. Her brother Jason's spirit, she said, lived on in her determination. Jason was always in my corner. He believed in me more than anyone, she recalled. When I feel like I can't do something, I hear him saying, "Girl, get up. You got this." And little Julian, he became her inspiration for giving back. Honoring Julian through giving, Jennifer launched the Julian King Gift Foundation not as a memorial of tragedy, but as a celebration of who Julian was, a cheerful, loving, curious child who lit up every room he entered. She made it her mission to keep that light shining. Every year, the foundation held events where children in need received backpacks, coats, school supplies, and support. Everything a growing child needs to feel valued and prepared. It's not about sadness, she emphasized. It's about continuing his joy. If Julian were here, this is what he'd want. Families who attended the events often said they felt Julian's spirit in the room. Positive, warm, youthful. Jennifer felt it too. A new beginning. Without forgetting, Jennifer often reflected on what it meant to keep going. You don't move on, she said softly. You move forward. She said that surviving such tragedy forced her to understand that healing doesn't mean forgetting. It means finding ways to keep the love alive. Every achievement, every milestone. I feel them with me, she explained. When something good happens, I hear my mom's voice. I'm proud of you, Jenny. When I doubt myself, I hear my brother teasing me, telling me to snap out of it. And when I see a child smile, I think of Julian. She described life after loss as a balance between sorrow and gratitude. I've seen the highest highs in life, she said. And I've lived through the deepest lows anyone can imagine. The only choice is to keep walking. A message her mother left behind. One of the memories Jennifer cherishes most is the letters her mother used to write her while she was traveling for work. She would tell me things I didn't always realize at the time, Jennifer said. One thing she wrote that I never forget was, "Out of everything you've achieved, what I admire most is your character." Those words became Jennifer's compass. They remind me of who she raised me to be, Jennifer explained. That's what I hold on to. Her mother taught her resilience. Her to be, Jennifer explained. That's what I hold on to. Her mother taught her resilience. Her brother taught her strength. Julian taught her hope. Together, their lessons became her foundation. Continuing even when it hurts, Jennifer often said that living after loss felt like learning how to walk again. You fall. You cry. You start over. But eventually, you stand. She became a powerful example of surviving the unimaginable and still choosing to live with purpose, compassion, and gratitude. She believes that the best way to honor her family is simple. Live the life they wanted for me, she says. Make them proud. And so she does. She smiles again. She works again. She sings again. Not because the pain faded, but because their love gave her a reason to continue.